What's happening, film fans? It is Brad from Let's Be Real Brad, and today on the channel, I want to give you guys a couple of quick movie reviews of movies that I watched this summer that I didn't get a chance to do a full review on because my summer has been absolutely crazy in the best way possible. So let's just dive right into it. And I want to start off with a new release that came out this weekend that will hit #1 at the box office, and that is called The Invitation. It is a brand new PG-13 horror film that I thought was one of the most boring films I have seen this year. This movie just starts off as a very boring, generic movie like Get Out and the others, and it just feels so sanitized. I didn't care about any of the characters as the dialogue was so boring and cookie cutter. The direction of this film is just so standard and basic. There are no memorable or outstanding shots in this movie. The cinematography is also really bland. I also really hated the artificial lighting that was extremely distracting. But the second half of this movie truly relies on a major twist that I won't spoil just in case you guys don't know it or haven't seen the trailer, or I don't even know if it's in the trailer. The twist was so ridiculously obvious that I whispered over to my wife and I was mentioning like, oh, maybe it could be this, and I ended up being right because the dialogue is so on the nose that you would literally have to not be paying attention to not notice it. As the second half of this movie is definitely more interesting, there's more consequences and the violence grows, and it's just a more entertaining movie. But the movie is such a slugfest that it takes so long to get there that this movie is just not worth watching. Maybe if you are interested in seeing this movie or you think you're gonna like this type of movie, then maybe go check it out on a discount day. I am giving The Invitation a 5 out of 10. The next film I want to talk about that also came out this weekend is called 3,000 Years of Longing, that is directed by George Miller. It stars Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba. I really want to do a full review for this film because this is one of the strangest movies I have seen this year so far, as it is definitely not for the general audience, which is kind of surprising of how big this budget is, which is around $60 million. This is such a weird and strange film, especially with a story that revolves around a couple of mini stories that happen in the first half of the film. And the whole concept of this movie is something we've seen before, like Aladdin, but it definitely takes a different twist on it and it feels very original. And I can respect that from George Miller, as I felt like he put a lot of heart and soul into this film. But unfortunately, I just didn't care about anything that was happening in this movie. I thought the first half of this film could have easily been a couple short films or one anthology film that revolved around this, but this movie just didn't make me care, especially when we get to the second half of the movie that revolves around the relationship between Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba's characters. That was definitely the most interesting, but I do have to respect the fact that Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton are great in this film, as their chemistry together is wonderful. They truly do carry this movie, as they are literally like the only characters in this movie, and I thought they were amazing. I also thought the dialogue was also pretty good as well, at least for more of the second half of the movie, that felt like a lot more care and attention went into it. I also found the editing, the lighting, and the cinematography to also be pretty good for this type of film, but the visual effects were very jarring at times, as some of it just ranged from being pretty mediocre to straight up distracting and bad. Overall, I would not recommend checking this movie out for a general audience because it is so strange and it is so out there. But if you think this movie does look sort of interesting, definitely check this out on a discount day or a matinee showtime, because this movie was enjoyable and I did like the movie overall, but I probably would never watch this movie again. I'm giving 3,000 Years of Longing a 6 out of 10. The next film I want to talk about came out in the beginning of August and is a Hulu original film, and that is called Prey, that is directed by Dan Trachtenberg. I know people really love the original Predator film, and I do as well. I've seen it a couple times, it's in my collection, but there's something about this new Predator film that just did it for me, and I enjoyed it so much. I found the cinematography and the direction to be excellent here, as I found all the action sequences to be fantastic, especially with these long takes that just look so damn good, with all the choreography and the costume design was was all very authentic and realistic. This movie was just very visually entertaining all throughout, especially with the visual effects and the Predator itself, which looked amazing. I also love the fact this movie goes back to its science fiction horror routes, which is what the 2010 Predators movie tried to do, but this movie does something so different with having different characters and a different setting and still connecting it to the other Predator films, but also feeling like its own movie. And I think a lot of that is due to the great writing in this movie and all of the great characters here that I really enjoyed. All the performances felt very authentic as I was extremely immersed into this film, and I just want to see more Predator films that are directed by Dan Trachtenberg, or just more movies like this that feel original and different. And I really wish this movie came out in the theaters because I think it would have been a massive success, but maybe not to Disney and Hulu, so who knows about that. I'm giving Prey an 8 out of 10. The last film I want to talk about is a movie that came out last week that I saw on my honeymoon with my wife, Maddie, and we just wanted to check out this movie just because it looks sort of interesting, and that is called Beast. It stars Idris Elba in the lead role as he is in another August movie, and it is about Idris Elba going up against a lion. That is the whole premise of the movie. I found this to be a very entertaining popcorn, thriller, action type of movie that gives you exactly what you want. Even though the first act of this movie is very slow and kind of boring and the very basic general thing that you would see in this type of film, but once this movie gets going, I found it to be very entertaining, especially with the lion having really good CGI here with a lower budget type of film comparative to any other big budget movie that features animals in it. This movie was actually pretty impressive, especially in the action sequences when Idris Elba is going up against the lion. This movie does feature a lot of cheesy moments, especially from the dialogue that's pretty basic and bad at times, and some of the shots in this movie are not all that great. But if you're just looking for a solid movie just to check out the theater, just to kill some time, or for something to enjoy, this is the movie to do so. I'm giving Beast a 6 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. As I want to know below in the comment section, what did you guys think of these films? And if you have seen them, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree with me? I can't wait to hear about it. Before you guys check out this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you want to, and ring that notification bell so I can see you all in the following video.